Are you ready for Taika Waititi? All the way from New Zealand. Taika Waititi, please.
Thank you. Oh, thank you very much. My name's Taika Waititi, as she said. It's very nice to be here. And time starts now. Basically, just as a quick run-through of what I'm going to talk about tonight. First off, I'll just introduce myself. So that'll be the first thing where I'm Taika Waititi. And so that's that done. Then I'd like to just break the ice, maybe start off with a joke. This joke, I'm just going to put it out there, just involves me telling you that I've just flown in to Doha, and as a result, my arms are tired. So what happens with that joke is, when I actually have flown in to Doha, but actually on an aeroplane in reality, and what I've done there with the joke is I've sort of taken it further and I said that my arms are tired, suggesting that I've flown like a bird to Doha. So that's the backstory of the joke. Cool. It's going pretty well. So who am I? Well, I kind of don't really know that myself often. I come from New Zealand, and I come from these two people who met in the early 70s. The woman is Robin. She's of Russian Jewish heritage, and she was a school teacher. And the guy next to her his name is Tiger, and he is a farmer and an artist. And they met, and then a few drinks later, they gave birth to a beautiful Asian daughter called Taika. So I come from a sort of like a very mixed background, and as a result, I've always sort of had trouble kind of finding out, deciding really like who I was or what I wanted to do, and like I've had lots of influences through my life, through both sides of my family. I come from, like, one side of me comes from the country, and I went to school out there where the population of the school was 28 kids, and it's still 28 kids. And then I was also at school in the city, and see there, I sort of that's freaked out by that. And that's me with my mum, and I don't know who the kid is next to me. But so I had all these sort of influences and stuff, and I didn't really, and I think that's kind of moved through into my creative life, where I haven't really been able to decide exactly what I wanted to do. I've always been into painting and art and drama and all these sort of different things. So and that's pretty much been my life. That's my grandmother on the back of a motorbike. And this is my other grandmother, so, you know, both girls on wheels. And so TEDx asked me to speak, and I had a little freak out because, you know, usually the people that talk here have, like, invented a brain or something, you know, or, like, that lady had a stroke and she could, like, suddenly see through walls and became Rain Man. So, yeah, I made a movie. Yeah, a good movie, but that's, yeah. You're wasting my time by clapping, okay? So, you know, to stand out, I would have thought I would have had to, like, invent movies, you know, to, like, be the first filmmaker ever. So I had a freak out. I don't know what to talk about. I started, you know, thinking, what have I got to say? And then you know, and then I started like, making notes, you know, vigorously making notes about, you know, what I was going to say, like here, and, you know, like, important ideas that were coming out of my brain onto the page, and then, you know, and I thought, okay, I'm finally going to, you know, like, reveal all this information about myself, and I really, I just really had no idea what to do or what to say. So it was about having no idea and no ideas, and then I thought, well, maybe it's about that. Maybe it is ideas that, I mean, obviously TED is the exchanging of ideas and perspectives. I mean, all I've got, guys, is creativity. That's it. That's my job. You know, at the moment I happen to be a filmmaker, but it's not my job. It's just, my job is to express myself and to share my ideas and my point of view. It happens to be that I'm using filmmaking right now, but throughout the years I've done lots of different things. I started off, my background is painting and visual art. I'm just going to zoom through all this stuff, but and it's varied from like the kind of like the serious and slightly sort of tongue-in-cheek and kind of sometimes political, but always fun. If I can try and make it fun, then that for me is what being creative is about. Is having fun and looking at life through like a sort of the lens of a child, really. This is a game I play with the newspaper on the sports page called "Where Are the Indians?" and they're everywhere in this picture. And so I've just tried to kind of just keep generating stuff. This is a lot of illustration work I did for a while. This is really eating into my time. I did a lot of performance and stand-up, and then moved into acting and photography, and tried to go at fashion for a little bit. Tried my hand at animation as well, and basically, I wanted to do everything. So I wanted to like try every single thing. I come from like a background where people have said, "Oh no, you have to have one job and stick with it." Well, I don't believe that. I think that in this day and age, people have things that they want to express, and you need to have a wide range of tools. And filmmaking, painting, acting, poetry, all that stuff, they're all tools. So I found that film happened to be an amalgam of all the things I was interested in, and so I explored that for the last sort of 6 or 7 years, and I think I've done quite well out of it. And it's culminated now with this movie Boy, which has gone on to become the most successful local film in New Zealand ever. But success, I think, for me is a very strange thing, and I probably have different ideas of what success is to most other people. Art, what is it? Is it important? I have no idea. Move on. Can it do these things? Can it save the empire? No, it can't, unless it's made of food. Can it bring about world peace? Only if art is actual world peace. So, it's all about perspective for me. I'm here basically to share how I see things. If you can take one little piece of inspiration from that and apply it to what you want to do, if I don't know how many people here are actually actively creative, then, if you can take something, a spark or an idea from anything I show you today, then me coming here and staying at the Four Seasons is worth it. So, I am attracted to the outsider, okay? That's a lot of the theme in my work is exploring this idea of people who don't belong, and, I'm always inspired by the outsider artists. These are paintings by my father, who's an outsider artist, even though he wouldn't even know what that meant if you were to say you're an outsider artist. And, I love the naive. I love people who can see things through, like I say, the lens of with an innocent viewpoint, I think, So, this is my dad, his perspective. He just paints things around the landscape that surrounds him. He lives on a hill, and he just paints the same thing all the time. And I love it. It's really inspiring to me. Rousseau is one of my favorite artists. They said he couldn't paint. If you can put paint on a brush and apply it to something, you can paint. What he couldn't do was paint in the style of everyone of the day. This guy is incredible, and I find that his stuff is actually really fun. I don't have no idea what he was really trying to say, but for me, this here is an incredible painting. I have no idea what's going on with these guys. And when you take the ball away, then it becomes kind of weird. This guy here, I don't know what he's up to back there, and it's just kind of weird. But I love looking at this stuff, and it just kind of generates inspiration and stuff for me. This is a picture of, in my mind, a horse eating a giant hot dog bun. That's what I see. This is, this actually has dialogue with it. This is a lion coming to talk to his friend, saying, "Hey, Jeffrey, can I borrow your guitar?" And this here is called The Writer and the Muse, and I'm assuming that lady is the muse. Again, it's whatever inspires you, and obviously she inspires him. So it's about perspective, And on that note, this here is my interpretation of what clouds see when they daydream. And so it's a point of view, you know. I've been obsessed with things over the years. I've collected lots of things from sewing machines to cameras to stamps and lots of things. You know, some of my early obsessions were people like Freddie Mercury and this guy Michael Jackson. And I took this obsession probably deep into my adult years, and I'm not sure if it was a healthy thing to do, but it was, for me, you know, it was just a natural thing, you know, so I love the guy. When I was about 11 or 12, I got obsessed with the Sistine Chapel, with the creation of Adam, and I started drawing it obsessively, and I just couldn't stop, and so I just like kept going, and just tried to like draw it, and I wouldn't have been my friend if I was a kid, you know. So I just sort of got obsessed with this sort of stuff, and again, you know, this is the sort of things that I look back on, and I'm not embarrassed about the stuff. I just really love I can sort of see myself as a separate person nowadays, and I think, man, what a weird kid. You know, I changed that, and it all kind of came to a head with this masterpiece called Fawn Trying to Get His Flute Back Off Weird Kid. So, yeah. And then, obviously, there's an old lady going for a walk on a sword with Robocop. So, Robocop is another thing I became obsessed with over the years, and I would just draw him again and again and again and again. Another thing I got obsessed with when my mum survived breast cancer was cancer, and I started getting really paranoid that I was going to get it, and I started thinking, okay, if I keep thinking about that, that's going to make it happen, and I had to stop thinking about it, and it just sort of would keep overwhelming my mind, and so like I decided like if I just did this, if I went like that would get rid of it, and like so far so good. Incidentally, this is a cancer cell, and interestingly enough, it's very similar to this picture, which is a picture of a nuclear bomb exploding milliseconds after detonation. So things that I find that are cool: Trans Ams, samurai swords, obviously, girls and tassels on jackets, things that aren't cool, we all know, cancer. Nuclear bombs are not cool, and Nazis. So guiltily, I sort of have this guilt. You know, my mother's side of the family comes, you know, way back there, Russian Jews, and I started when I was quite young, maybe about 12. I started getting obsessed with drawing swastikas. I couldn't help it, and I still feel guilty about it. And so every time I drew one on a notebook or something, I would instantly feel guilty, and I'd have to change it into windows. And so I would just do this all over my notebooks, and so I couldn't. The more I tried to stop doing it, I thought, oh God, another swastika. And so, you know, so just like windows and houses all over my books and stuff, because I thought, oh, someone's going to find out about the windows, and so I had to disguise all the windows as houses. And it just became an obsession, and I just couldn't stop. And then it sort of led to this obsession with like Hitler, and like why like Charlie Chaplin looks like Hitler, and what is it about the moustache that you can make anything look like Hitler? And so I just, you know, and then I started trying to like doing that with things, and I found that it works, freakily enough. It works on everything, and it's not my fault. You know, it's just someone put that idea out there. He did it. He made the moustache famous, and so these are things that, you know, they're not even. I don't even know what the point of me saying these things to you are. You know, but I think hopefully there's some sort of exchange here, and you'll take something away. Another joke. Knock knock. Cabbage. Just a big cabbage. Just a giant cabbage that someone's wedged up against the front door. You've opened it and you can't get out of your house because of a giant cabbage. And you've got to eat your way through the cabbage to get out to freedom. Just putting it out there. So I came up with this idea. I'm also obsessed with rugby. Rugby is my favorite game. And babies. I love babies. I think they're my favorite of the tiny humans. So I came up with this game where you combine both things. And it's a game called Rug Baby. And yeah, I think it's just a fantastic way of, to get men more involved in their children. And so obviously there's the most famous Rug Baby player ever, Jonah Lomu. Some inventions I've made up. I really love guitar, but I don't love having long fingernails. So I came up with the idea of an emery board guitar neck, so that when you're playing, it shortens your nails. Also, another thing I hate is when your tie and the wind blows into your eye. So I came up with the button-down tie. My invention, copyright. And where's the remote control? Here it is on the convenient remote control watch. Other inventions, variations on that, the remote control. And also the cell phone watch, more variations on the watch. And finally, I'm going to one day invent the watch, which is just a watch with another watch on top. So I think failure is a brilliant thing. It teaches you a lot of stuff, and you end up coming up with better ideas often when you fail at things. And I think what's really great also is learning to embrace bad experiences, bad creative experiences, and watch bad movies, read bad books, and because all of that stuff sometimes it teaches you what not to do. And so, like for me, one bad experience I had was I played a stripper on a TV show once. I remember sitting around in the green room in my G-string thinking, why am I doing this? Just helping someone else to realize their dream. And so what I ended up doing was I started writing my own scripts and stuff in my G-string. And then a few months later, I made a short film, and then that went on to go to the Oscars about a year later. But I lost, so obviously that was a complete waste of time. But, that was me at the Oscars, asleep. And so success is sort of what I'm going to leave this talk on. My idea of success is not money. It's not, it's not getting a lot of money. I think if that's your idea of success, then that's great. But it's, I think it's not really why we're here. I think we're here to communicate and to share ideas and stuff. And I think that is successful. Back home in New Zealand, we have this saying, tēnā koe. Okay, that's a Māori saying, tēnā koe, that's how you say hello. And what it literally means is, there you are. Okay, if you're saying it to a group of people, tēnā koutou, there you guys are. Okay, so the fact that we're here, that we're even on Earth in the first place, I think that's success in itself. So congratulations, everyone, on being here. And I wish you all the best in your creative lives. And on that note, cheers, kia ora, kia ora, kia ora.